Committee on Power has organized a two-day workshop with stakeholders to interact on issues confronting Nigeria's power as the nation migrates to a multi-tier electricity market. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Victor Nwokolo, during a speech said the objective of the workshop is multifaceted, aimed at providing dynamic platform for stakeholders to evaluate progress made so far, as it will also address challenges and opportunities encountered in the sector.
We gather here as stakeholders with a shared commitment to address one of our nation's most pressing issues, which is availability of electricity to Nigerians. Your Excellencies and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our objective over the next few days is multifaceted but clear. Firstly, we aim to provide a dynamic platform for stakeholders to evaluate the progress made thus far in the electricity supply industry development. We will dive into the successes, challenges, and opportunities encountered along the journey, seeking to identify key areas for improvement and innovations. And of course, by the Electricity Act of 2023, which provides for liberalization of the electricity generation, transmission, and distribution at the national level, state and local government levels, which empowers states to issue licenses to private investors who may operate mini-grids and power plants within their territory. Therefore, it has become necessary for stakeholders to address the envisaged challenges, which is thrown by challenges facing NICE, and to chart a course for seamless transition to a multi-tier electricity market in Nigeria. We all are aware that no legislation is perfect until it's put into operation. On this note, I want to honestly appeal to everybody to come with a clear mind for us to receive feedbacks on where we are and where we are to go. We expect the best from this summit, from this dialogue. We will continue to engage because the power sector appears to be occupying the space of the communication worldwide as a result of emerging situations, particularly as it affects the common man, the adjustments of the tariff. So we'll keep engaging you from time to time. It is never too much until a time we feel we are in a place we can raise our head to say we have arrived at a junction where all Nigerians just say it is available at the cheapest rate we can have.
The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, during a speech, disclosed plans for the establishment of 3 gigawatts of solar energy sources across the 25 states in the north and the southwest parts of the country. The minister further lamented on lack of backup for the national grid, calls for alternative sources.
A lot of the investors in these schools, like I mentioned yesterday, they didn't have the financial strength to come into this sector. They didn't have the technical expertise to come into this sector. And a lot of them thought power sector is a short-term sector where they can realize both their capital and interest. But no, it's a long-term investment that you cannot really get your investment back in 2, 3, 4 years, or not to talk of the profits. A lot of them did not come in with their private equity. They borrowed money from banks, and they were under the pressure to pay back some of these loans, which is why we have seen a number of the discos taken over by banks and by AMCONs. And we are seeing that within a very short time, all these discos must go back to conventional power operators to ensure we have a smooth operation of the discos. So this new tariff will address issues of liquidity, issues of investment and infrastructure deficit, as well as stimulation of demand and ramping up of generation output, focusing on all forms of sources. The thermal plant with stable and quality gas supplies, large and small hydroelectric electric power plants, for example, the Shungeri that we just opened, Kashibila, and the 26 small hydropower plants across the country. And we're also focusing on renewable energy sources, covering solar in the northeast, northwest, and north central, and some parts of the southwest, covering wind energy in the coastal cities of Lagos State, Ogun State, Ondo State, Edo, Delta, Rivers, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River States. And lastly, we have investment proposals for establishment of 3 gigawatts, which is 3,000 megawatts of solar energy source across the 25 states in the north and the southwest. This is novel, and we believe it will go a long way to solve our power problems. And we're also encouraging state governments to invest in embedded distributed power generation within their states. We have seen the case of Abia State, and a lot of other states are following suit. Just yesterday, NEC actually granted Enugu and the Ekiti State the right to regulate electricity within their states. So, now to talk about the transmission sector. We have witnessed incessant collapse of the transmission. It's nothing but lack of adequate infrastructure, dilapidated infrastructure, old and archaic infrastructure that have been installed 50, 60 years ago, in the days since the days of the ECN, which is the Electricity Company of Nigeria, the days of NEPA to PHCN, before the unbundling of the sector. I once said that on my visit to some of these substations, I noticed the transformer installed in the 60s, carrying the logo of ECN over 50 years ago. How will that support the transmission sector? We lack the adequate technology, we don't have SCADA, and there's also no backup or failover grid if anything happens to our national grid. These are the shortfalls in the transmission that we must fight. Then the big elephant, the distribution companies. We've seen the privatization. It wasn't bad because it had laudable objectives, but the execution of this privatization was actually fraught with a lot of inefficiencies and ineffectiveness. This has led to a lot of structural issues, which we are also battling with.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, in a speech disclosed plans to sponsor a bill to provide administrative procedures that entrench proper consultation and legislative review of process for tariff setting in Nigeria's electricity and other public services. Noting the fundamental principle of just and fair pricing of electricity as laid out by a leading authority in this field, the Speaker stated simplicity, acceptability amongst others.
I will sponsor a bill to provide administrative procedures that entrench proper consultation and legislative review of processes for tariff setting in Nigeria's electricity and other public services. Secondly, a phased implementation that involves the gradual introduction of marketers allows for adjustments and learning. Finally, continuous engagements with all stakeholders is critical to ensuring that reforms meet the diverse needs of the population and maintain public trust. As you proceed with the discussions and deliberations over the next 2 days, I would say better late than ever. Our commitment to transforming the Nigerian power sector into a model of efficiency and sustainability is unwavering. Despite the challenges, together as stakeholders, we can achieve a reform power sector that drives national growth and enhances the quality of life for all Nigerians.
Present at the event are the former Minister of Power and Chairman of Geometric Power Limited, Professor Bartholomew Naji, former Minister of Information and National Orientation, Professor Jerry Ghana, Group Managing Director of Sahara Group, Kola Additional, Gencos, Discos, amongst others. Comfort Olayinka, DCTV News.